Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, which in the Hebrew is Shalom or Shalom la Bachayarim, which is Shalom to the election, the chosen, the first fruits of the nation of Israel, consisting of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, whom are allotted amongst the Manar number, being the prophets first, which are the 144,000. 12,000 of each 12 tribes of Israel, which altogether 144,000 prophets. And of course, Shalom to the great number multitude known as the 1/3, which are no prophets but are believers, which shall be gifted, blessed with their salvation as well, being chosen before the foundation of the earth for the Lord's mercy to receive eternal life first. Okay, on this go around. Of course, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who all peace and salutation to the election. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners, likened unto the speckled bird that stick out amongst the nations, that may look like a heathen, but by the way of their fathers they go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, the Israelites. Shemiah Mafa, my name is Mafa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp, located here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm Lamadi Amai. Come in with a lesson, little, which is a weak lesson, which you have the actual title, which it means the end of American power. Don't blame Trump and don't expect Biden to save it either. And this was a article which had a catchy headline. And this is all on my mind right now. Like, all I just think about is the declining hegemon of the United States, okay? Which is that woman that rideth on the scarlet colored beast. Of course, they got this whole world drunk off its philosophy, the wine. It says here, fretting about the U.S. declining global power has long been a parlor game among the establishment thinkers, but there now seems to be nervous consensus in the Beltway, which consensus is agreement in the Beltway that its days of world leadership are indeed fast approaching, which really that decline, that is the error in such thinking. However, it's the blame all on Donald Trump for being some kind of rogue leader, and implication that the Democrat contender Joe Biden were to win the White House next week, then happily the historic decline in the U.S. global power might be reversed. In the current issue of Foreign Affairs, the elite journal of the U.S. establishment debate, an article by Elliot A. Cohen titled "The End of American Power" argues that Trump re-election would usher in permanent decline. Wow. And that's absolutely great, okay, because through Donald Trump, through, of course, U.S. foreign policy, they have done nothing but posture themselves to be at variance with the rest of the leading nations, and even amongst the smaller nations, and withdrawing out of various treaties, and different countries refusing to listen to them, and of course them going invading these different countries and waging war in the name of what? To combat against terrorism, when these countries are being terrorized by the U.S. military and its proxies, okay, mercenary armies, and fight on their behalf. destroying nations, displacing children, displacing, them at their houses, creating a migrant crisis, dropping bombs on the people, and then wondering why you have different these various nations, Syria and all these various nations in the east, and even in destroyed out even in the different African countries. Why you have these the migrant or immigrant, so-called immigrants, are migrating into trying to get over here. Okay, and then why they in your face hating you. Okay, let's go real quick, and it's Esau Edom. That's who of course is the leader of this powerhouse. Edom is the leader of this powerhouse. Okay, this Roman Empire is ruled by Edom. Okay. And let's just go into just a couple scriptures real quick. This is the first scripture will be this is the book of Luke chapter 10 and 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. And now this is Satan, which is the enemy adversary, which is Esau Edom, falling from heaven, meaning rulership. Okay, because Esau Edom is in its rulership, his heaven, okay, at rest. Okay. And as lightning, Barak, which in the Hebrew, that's the Hebrew word for lightning. Barak with a ka at the end. All right. I believe that is right. Let me see. It might be actually it's a Barak, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because Barak. Let's see. I'll just go and show you real quick. Is with the cuss, like you. Pardon me for the error. All right, lightning. Just to show you, I believe it's a kha at the end, not a ka. Barak means bless is with a ka, I believe. Lightning. Which I gotta find the actual Hebrew word. It's actually a qua. Pardon me again. So it's a qua. So it's good to obviously go back into these words. Lightning, flash. Okay. It's a flash. And it's like, just like you were there, in a flash you will be out. Okay. Out of your power seat, out of your heaven. Just like that. Okay, because you've been ruling for this little season. Okay. And this is real quick. This is Revelation chapter 20. And 1 it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of a bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Okay. Which goes into, I believe this representing the great chain in his hand, representing slavery, bottomless pit, Europe. And he laid hold of that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into a bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal on him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. And you know, of course, you go into the history. You had E wasn't it ruling. We had Jake ruling. Okay, but now, of course, this man is ruling from this little season. Okay. Going to, you know, the history with the Dark Ages and such. All right, Jake was ruling during them times. But you have it, he is, you know, he's back. All right, and he's ruling, okay, through, of course, the rebirth of the Roman Empire, being through the NATO, the EU, and America, okay, which rideth upon the scarlet colored beast. It tells you in the book of Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, that you read verse pardon me, because it's a bit late, and I just a bit tired. This is Second Esdras 6 and 9. It says here, for actually I'll start verse 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born on him. And we, of course, are Jacob. There's like so-called Negroes and the Americans. Esau, all right, is the wicked. All right, we know who they are. They call themselves wheat, but isn't he? Okay, they want to actually call themselves us. Okay. Yeah, it says, when Jacob or Jacob hand held forth the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau is at the end of this world. He's the one that's falling like lightning. He's Satan. Okay. He's that old devil. Okay. Got another scripture, which I'm gonna hold on, which is I got Obadiah and also Isaiah 14. We're gonna read some more of this article and, you know, get out of here, because I just wanted to make this a quick and to the point video before I go to sleep. It's like, yeah, I give. I mean, it's just you know, the title was on my heat, and I was like, man, I gotta do something on this real quick. And so, as it said, this man is saying that Trump's re-election will usher in the permanent decline. Oh shoot! Which usher is, usually you got an escort. You know, someone who escorts. You know, like you have the church. You know, the old Christian church. You got the woman. She got the you know, piece of paper. She's gonna escort you to where you're supposed to sit and such. You know, before you go into the sanctuary, in these Christian churches and such. Well, Trump re-election will usher in, will escort this place to a permanent decline, as it says. And Biden ain't getting it any better. All right, as it's going into it, says Cohen claims that the Republican president is reelected. His erratic approach to leadership and disdain for allies, okay? And I mean, he's been doing nothing but doing that. I mean, you have it where I bring out some of these points at camp. I'm gonna bring out. This is right here. This actually is newly published. Allies and former U.S. officials fear Trump could seek NATO exit in second term. Okay. This is heavy. This is new. I didn't even see this, and which Lord willing I can get to read this. I mean, it sucks that this thing, when I have a subscription thing, maybe I can reload it and it can come back up or something like that. But you know, of course, NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You know, the beast. Okay, along with his other Edomite counterparts. You know, Canada and different Germany, France, United Kingdom. You have even Turkey. Okay. Let me see if Lord willing, I can get this article somewhere. I have to maybe possibly use this one. Trump discusses pulling U.S. from NATO aids say amid new concerns over Russia. All right, and I can't open this up. I'll have to probably revisit it. But this, them wanting to leave NATO leaves the allies, of course, to fend for themselves. You had, I believe, France, and in I believe past year, and that was either 2018 or 2019, has said about building up their own, military force, which they do have their own military, but more so aside from this whole NATO. Okay. 3 charts that show why Trump thinks NATO is a bad deal. Okay, this off CNBC, which, your regular news. Heads of state of government are meeting in UK. This is old. Of course, the military alliance of NATO, which, this came together to combat against Russia, the nuclear force that Russia is. Okay. It says Trump has repeatedly said the U.S. provides too much cash for NATO, spending big on maintaining missile defense systems across Europe and positioning 65,000 troops within the continent. Okay, and this is all what E does. E, of course, is all over the place. Okay, as the scriptures say, he neither keepeth at home. Habakkuk tell you that in the 2nd chapter, it tells you that in the 5th verse, because he transgressed the Babylon, which is philosophy, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. So it's telling you, they got missile defense systems all across Europe, trips all across Europe, okay, all over the world, over 800 different bases throughout the world, okay, who enlarged his desire as hell and as death and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap on him all people. Okay, right. And even with that, this man is still not satisfied, and he is in debt. Okay, Esau Edom is in debt, and it's shown. Okay, which it reminds me of that Isaiah. Isaiah in the 14th chapter, which I'm gonna get. And real quick, this is Obadiah 1, and this is concerning Edom, as it says, the vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom, Adawam. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and the ambassador Slaki is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise against her in battle. So against Edom. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, amongst the nation. Heathen is the Hebrew word which is Gawaya, all right, or Gawayam right here, which is nation, right? It says, and thou art greatly despised, and if you greatly despised, you're talking about, okay, no, you want to pull out of NATO, pull out of alliance, showing yourself to be an enemy, okay? Because then them nations had to, of course, be on their own, wherein they have, in times past, linked up with them, okay, to fight on their behalf. It says a withdrawal of the U.S. from NATO would effectively destroy it with one stroke. Okay, actually, in Slocky, let me reread that. On Tuesday, Trump issued, and this is previous year. Yeah, it says another broadside, this time accusing Germany of not paying its fair share on defense. And, of course, within Europe, speaking with the EU, Germany has the leading economy there, but also they're falling in straits. Okay. It says a withdrawal of the U.S. from NATO would effectively destroy it with one stroke. And while nothing official has ever been said, several reports suggest Trump has considered ending U.S. involvement. NATO itself estimates as a percentage of the gross domestic product, which goes into the total amount of services, market value of what services and goods. Okay, GDP, Lord will, it just comes up. Just got that of for the country America, that is specifically talking about. The U.S. will far outstrip spending of any other member in 2019. So, of course, they heed, of course, the nation and the spending, okay, of their gross domestic product, a percentage amongst the NATO member countries, such as, of course, your Greece, your UK, Poland, Turkey, France, Norway. I'm not sure if that's Bulgaria. Check, but that's Germany, Canada, Italy. Let me see if that's check. I gotta check that one. CZE. Check that CZE. I want to check that if it's checked. CGE. Slovakia, if I got that mixed up. CZE. Yeah, Czechia, or the Czech Republic. Okay. Luxembourg, Spain. Okay. Like I say, and NATO, is of course the beast. NATO and the EU and such. All right, which U.S. heats. All right, sits upon the scarlet colored beast. Read Revelation 17. Okay. And it says here also that in 2017, all NATO members agreed to increase their defense spending to 2% of gross domestic product by 2024. As of June 2019, NATO data estimate that only 7 of the 29 members, including the U.S., are estimated to spend 2% of their annual GDP on defense this year. So, Or say like, damn, man, look, y'all only giving, look, only a certain amount of you, that's meant to spend is 2%, all right, on the defense. On Monday, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg defended the spending of member nation on spending. NATO allies are really stepping up. They're delivering more than they have done for many years, he told CNBC's Hadley Gamble in London. Stoltenberg said that non-U.S. NATO allies, i.e. Europe plus Canada, are on target to add $400 billion to their defense budget by 2024. That's unprecedented. That's unprecedented. That will make NATO stronger. But you got them wanting to pull out, okay? And as you know, of course, it's going to tell you that NATO's earliest incarnation was in the 1947 agreement between France and the UK to help each other in the event of any attack from Germany or Soviet Union. All right, this expanded into the military alliance that included U.S. and 1949 member countries put their signature to the North Atlantic Treaty for the first time. It says its relevance and popularity has ebbed and flowed. In 1966, France under the President Charles de Gaulle left NATO's military structure, doubting the organization might against any invasion of the Soviet Union. Okay. Macron said that NATO has experienced brain death. Okay. Yeah, this is a statement that I remember because of the pressure of reform from Trump and unpredictable military action from Turkey, which they've been having issues with Turkey, which is a NATO member. Macron said that the Turkish invasion of Syria is a threat to NATO battle against the Islamic State. Okay. So, I mean, you just see all this infighting. Okay. So it says here, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, that thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence I will bring thee down. All right, and the Lord is going to bring down this American pride, and he's doing that in the new. Okay? And he's going to use his own American, these various European allies, and also, of course, Russia, China, to destroy this place, other nations as well. But this place is losing its hegemon, its dominant military and political, social, predominance in the world. Okay. So, that's something I wanted to touch on a wee bit there. Now, it says here, that's a very important thing, okay, why this place is going to decline. And that's crazy. If I can go into them different articles about in the second term leaving, that's one of the things he want to do is to leave NATO. That's amazing. That's why it talk about in Revelation 17 that says that, which I'll get. This is Revelation 17. That, because remember, they supposed to have one mind, and they shall get a power to the strength to the beast. All right, the 10 horns, that is, which goes into the different European countries. Let's go back to the common markets. The single market, common markets, all right, that came back now, in this time. And of course, you go into the, the history, due to the Treaty of Rome, they came back, all right, and they, of course, they supposed to give their their power unto the beast, okay, NATO, okay, these EU countries, are supposed to give everything onto them, All right, in one mind, and give their power and strength to the beast. All right. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb. Oh, actually, I don't want to read that. I wanted to go here. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17, or actually 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth, the whore is America, the woman, okay, our peoples and multitude of nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her and burn her with fire. Okay, you have, of course, now these days, these European countries, the EU, formerly was the European Economic Commission or Community, Slovakia, and now you have 27 member nations. You have of course, Great Britain come out due to Brexit, which they're in a transitional period, which is about to expire come January. They're still negotiating their actual relationship with the EU. They're gonna be on whatever terms, either out or a deal. But now this place, the whole Edomite supremacy, the whole Edomite rulership is going down. All right, and these of course 10 horns are gonna burn hate the whore and burn her with fire. Okay, you can easily go back to, of course, the beast sign if you want. You can look at the beast sign. But it says, for the power hath put in their heart to fulfill his will, to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the power be fulfilled. Okay, so it's all according to the will of Yahweh Shem El Shai. All right, so let's continue to read a wee bit more. It says here that it says again that Cohen claims that the Republican president is reelected. His erratic approach to leadership and disdain for allies would permanently tarnish the United States' reputation for stability and return to a world that has no law of the jungle, a world akin to the chaos of the 1920s and 30s, but worse than that. I mean, you can see it's worse because look, we're in a worse Great Depression, okay, economically, though of course this man claimed to be making America great again, though he's destroying all of the different alliances with his own European counterparts, Edomite European counterparts, and other heathen in the world. Okay, and this place plunges itself into debt under also a pandemic. Okay, with a Operation Warp Speed. Okay, which many people are at non-agreeance with. Okay, that they wish not to comply. And you have, of course, all of this protests. Okay, shameful spewing on the glory. This place is through. Okay, so I mean, this is typically self-flattery. It's like, let me read back. It says, because there would be no United States out there on the periphery, ready to be awakened and ride to the rescue. This is the typical self-flattery of American exceptionalism and mythology benevolence. Our benefits, yeah. Return to law of the jungle under Trump, not when Obama was bombing 7 countries simultaneously. Yeah, so I mean, you had, of course, people thinking that this man was a great president. He was bombing too. Okay. I mean, you talking about these trips being taken out of Afghanistan and over in the Middle East. They're still over there. Okay. It says, or when any other president since the end of the World War II exercised the prerogative to launch wars without the UN Security Council mandate. And of course, U.S., since it rideth on its collar scarlet beast, it makes its own rules. Okay, whether the nations agree or not. It says from Korea to Vietnam to Afghanistan, Iraq, and any more besides. The Foreign Affairs article doesn't actually endorse Biden for president, but the implication, you have to read that article that on your own, but I have to find it. But the implication is that the American current woes nationally and internationally will be dispelled by ousting the brash, uncouth Trump from White House. If only it were that simple. What needs to be realized is that the U.S. global power is failing in its empirical process over several years, regardless of which one of the two main parties own the White House and Congress for that matter. So it doesn't even matter what of your Republicans or Democrats. This place is still declining because the Lord said he will bring them down. All right, as we've read. Okay. It says decline is chronic, systematic, and structural. Let's see. Let's go into that. This is Isaiah chapter 14. I mean, I love talking about this stuff, by the way, of course. It's great because it's all in the scriptures. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 14. And this is starting at verse 4. It says that thou shalt take a proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city of ceased. Yeah, Babylon the Great. This golden city has ceased. Okay. I mean, you see it where retail apocalypse. Now the retail apocalypse have come to literally and protesters breaking into the place and then looting. So then, the place is really coming back. Small businesses through the mum. Okay. Cease, rest. Okay. Shabbath in the Hebrew. Shabbath. All right. Not Shabbat. Or Sabbat. I know certain brothers, I don't know where I know like Amalek be saying that Sabbat or Sabbath, but it's Shabbath in the Hebrew. All right, I don't really have to go into that, but Shabbath, that's rest in Hebrew. All right, that's not the main reason of this lesson, but cease to goes into of course destroy means to destructure, to cause to fail. Okay, how's the golden city is caused to fail? Okay. It says the Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Okay. So of course the ruler would have a staff, having the rulership, have a scepter, showing that he has the authority. Well, now this man is losing this authority. Okay. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. It says, the whole earth is at rest and quiet, they break forth into singing. All right, and this is going to be beautiful when, of course, the Lord beautifies his earth when taking down this rulership of Esau, Edom. All right. It says, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellers is come up against us. These nations gonna be like, as I know the scriptures talk about the nations being as tree, or what does it say? I've seen men as trees. So likening it to the other nations. So, it's going to be great. The nation's going to rejoice. Because remember, where the wicked are in rule, the people mourn, and the righteous are in authority, people are, rejoicing. They're glad. Okay? It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the deed for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. It says, all they that speak and say unto thee, thou also shall be thou also become weak as we, art thou become like unto us. And I mean, the Lord has built up these nations where weaker nations are never saying they're strong because they have nuclear capability. All right, they may, of course, have to cower down, to the U.S. because they now have ability, which this is a good deterrent against, of course, the U.S. and its bullying of the nations. Okay, they can now, of course, boast too, like Iran is doing. Okay, as they've been, I believe they already have nuclear missiles capability, but they have been, of course, building up their nukes. All right, but anyway, and they are back into Russia too. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of vows and the worm is spread under thee, and worms cover thee. And that goes to Ramah, which is decay. Okay, going into your let me see where we got. Where was that decay? Let me see. The palms brought down to the grave, and none of the vials and worms spread underneath. Let me see where we got. Slocky, one moment. Let me see if I went. Yeah, the worm is spread under thee, and that's the decay. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Ramah is for worm, of course, which a worm is a sign of decay. Okay, but your bloody infrastructure is shite. 50 half a century old roads, and D minus grade in infrastructure. I mean, this place, you got water mains just breaking it, everywhere, as we say, everywhere. And this place is shite. Okay, bridges, constant reconstruction. Okay. So, as the article says, that the decline is chronic, systematic, and structural. The body politic of the U.S. is moribund. Let me see. Let me check that. I never seen that word before. It says moribund, which is at the point of death. No longer to be able to invigorate by satisfying the demands and the needs of its population. You had the population is literally in straits, being in a welfare state. Of course, now, U.S. have to go to more socialism and you say policy, because people kind of course, said they don't even have jobs to go to. Okay, so you have to move and be a dictatorship, give these people university basic income via what they're coming with, which is this RFID microchip, and coming with, of course, these COVID passports to move about in this controlled surveillance state we're in. Okay, which is so-called, with this thing, this new great reset. They expect everything to be better, but it isn't. It's too much problem. As it says, thick clay in Habakkuk. That thick clay. All right, Lord willing, I'll get that. I want to keep going through the spirit, and then I'm about to close out sin. This is a great article, man. This is really it hits a lot. You know, I just hit it through the spirit, but it's crazy. It says, the body politic of the U.S. is moribund, which goes in the point of death, no longer to be able to reinvigorate. Yeah, I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like, if you guys have seen corruption, you know, the decay. I mean, this place is through. It says that impotence is a dysfunction of its so-called liberal political system, dominated as it by powerful corporations which control the politicians. Okay, right, lobby, and then of course, the politicians serve into law, you know, these different things to help these corporations, which they, you know, really hurt the people in the end. Politicians for elite interests, right? Not those of the working majority population, you know. That's why you got farmers, they want to kill themselves. Okay, they got to abide by these wicked laws by, you know, companies, you know, and use genetically modified seeds and such. All right. The atrophy, more decay, man. Atrophy is like when you have the tissue or organ wastes away. All right, so more degeneration is turned into dysfunction of American capitalism. Neither of the two parties are willing to fix it because the endemic to the system. This is not just an affliction of the European states also share the predicament, albeit with less global consequences. And this is an Esau Edom thing, not, you know, so just to show you, it's not just the U.S., but it's also as a whole. Okay, they share the same predicament because they are Edomites. All right. And like I said, they are part of the other European states are just a part of, you know, you got the 10 horns, all right. No, and of course you got what, you know, the 7 heads and such, you know. What is it? 5 are falling. I gotta go into that, but yeah, you know, just going into it. While the U.S., I think it's like Daniels. It says while the U.S. still retains undoubted military strength, the other pillars are eroding. This is hitting. This Isaiah is hitting right here. This Isaiah, which I gotta read, Isaiah 14. It says, again, 11. Thy pomp has brought thee down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, and the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, from rulership, O Lucifer? They call themselves what? Lucifer, right? Because they they're the light bearers on the left hand side. Lucifer means what? Light bearer. Okay, just so you know. Hayalal, which is light bearer, morning star, Lucifer. Okay, and they got the king of Babylon and figuratively Satan. Okay, which is Esau Edom. Okay, here we're talking about, because Yahushua is a light bearer as well. Okay, on the right hand side. Okay. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay, so this is an actual person, as we're gonna go into. Where thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, and I sit upon the mountain of congregation in the sides of the north. Okay, and I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. This is how a man would think. Yet thou shalt be brought down to Shawal, all right, to the grave, all right, into that nuclear destruction too, all right, you Edomites are, to the sides of the pit, and they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that is made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Okay, and that's Esau. Okay, as you can see from the article you're reading, how he's shaking up everything. Okay, it says here that this is not just an affliction of the U.S. European states that also share the predicament, albeit with less global consequences. The American, that's what he says though. It says the American century of the Pax Americana is turning into a Pax Americana. The sense of U.S. global dominance, them having that hegemon, has relied on three pillars: economic, military, and cultural power, and which I would break down to being really, even you go into Revelation, the 16th chapter, your three unclean, what's that? I believe that's the three unclean spirits, I think it is. Right. It says, and I saw the three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. The false prophet being the Roman Catholic Church. Of course, was it Roman Empire? Of course, the dragon, beast, Neo. All right, you have it, the three unclean spirits. Okay, which would be what you go into that represents, I believe, you go into your what's it, you got the of course see that you got, I know the military, which do the U.S., the Pentagon, you have let me see, I gotta go back into this breakdown again. I'm trying to go off the top. Spiritually, I know you got the Vatican. Let me see, I want to go back into it. Just give me one moment to pull up my wee notes. London, of course, I know they have the financial end of it, but give me one moment. Slakia. Been a bit since I went into this. All right, but let me see. See the things. Yep, dragon represents the Roman Empire, which is back due to America and its allies, which are back under the new. Yep, that's right. The beast is Neo. Yep. And then the false prophet, Roman Catholic Church, 3 city states. All right, which encapsulates the NWO, the New World Order agenda, which is the Washington, D.C., which is the military might, London city state, which is the financial capital, and the Vatican, which is the spiritual aspect. All right, so that's your three unclean spirits like frogs that come out of the mouth of the dragon. Dragon again being Roman Empire, and out of the mouth of the beast, which of course is Neo, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. All right. For they are spirits of devils, deceivers, accusers, working miracles. Okay. Which of course do technology, right? Which go forth unto the kings of the earth and by the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the power Almighty. And then you're gonna have that Harmageddon, that going into the valley of let me see, Harmageddon. Har I know is mountain of trips. Harmageddon. Right. Har I know is mountain of hell. Magadwan. I believe God goes into trips. Magadwan. Just like look like a plural version of Gad, which is trips. Okay, see it? But yeah, you know, like the tribe of Gad is so-called North American Indians, which is trip. I mean trip. All right, troop. Our troop. All right, so you know it's a lot. So it's going into. It says, man, this is great. I mean, I gotta go into this term for Pax Americana. Some they familiar with it. I've seen it, but I don't know what it actually means. So it's always good to look into these terms, like it for the long video. But it says the state of relating to international peace regarding as overseen by the U.S. or the U.K. Latin American peace after Pax Romana. Okay. Pax. I should go to like etymon for Pax, which is peace. Like say for it says peace, kiss of peace. Pax was the name of Roman goddess of peace. You know, they you know, like I said, the idols, okay? See? Roman, I mean, so you see this place is nothing but Rome. Alright? Use with the adjectives from the nation's name on the motto Pax Romana, such as Pax Britannica, which I know that's like England. Pax America was used in the 1884 reference of the Union of States. Okay. Which, I have to go into this term some more. Shit, damn, there's so much I want to do, but I don't want to make the lesson so long. Alright, I'm going to revisit it. Tradition, in a sense, the sense of U.S. global dominance has relied on three pillars: economic, military, and cultural power. And I broke down when the economic, which is London, it was financial back then, which I should do the scripture. Well, you know, in brief, you know, military, which is due to Pentagon in D.C., and really the spiritual power due to Vatican. All right. While the U.S. still retains undoubted military strength, the pillars are eroding. Okay. Yeah, I mean, spiritually, this place is losing its power. All right. This, you know, it's going down. The Lord is bringing down these different idols. You know, let's see. Economically, we could clearly see that this place needs a reset. All right. Militarily, like I said, they showing that, but they're only going to be destroyed. Okay. And I mean, this is so much, man. This article has so much. I mean, it goes into more actual specifics. But I'm gonna have to go into it in the next lesson, so I don't want to make it too long. So, of course, call all your Yahweh Shem Shabashim Kakadash for the lesson. Of course, as the scriptures say, that the Lord has I could get this one. One of the Elder Malcolm's favorite scriptures that I know he brings out. But this is verse 8. So I started verse 7. And it says here that pride is hateful before the power in man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And they're in this transition. These Edomites are in the transition to giving us the kingdom to us. The saints are going to take the kingdom. All right, starting with our Lord Yahweh Shai is going to get his kingdom to his saints. All right, which we're going to be made into his battle backs, his weapons of war, through spiritual intervention when the Lord comes back. All right. Why is earth and ashes proud? And I mean, the Lord's going to be bringing out spiritual power even before, he actually shows up on the scene. So just beware of that, because we're got to go through this time of Jacob's trouble, which we're in the beginning time of it. All right, the earlier headings of it. Heatings. It says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, Esau, which he's going about with his New World Order agenda. Okay. Which this whole three unclean frogs encompass in his agenda, which is going down right now, as the article showed. Economically is going down, and of course culturally, which really spiritual. All right, which this man culture is witchcraft. He steals everybody else's culture. It's just illusion. But it says, for such as one that setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he cast away his bowels. Right. It says, the physician, which is Yahweh Shai, cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Call Halayim La Yahweh Shem El Shai, Bishop Kodash, and double honors to the apostles, levels of great millstone, peace and salutation to you. Let hope you're edified again by the lesson, the end of American power. Don't blame Trump, and don't expect Biden to save it either. The damage already is done. All right. Look, several nations are openly defying U.S. bullying despite the wielding sanctions. All right. Studies show how unprecedented collapse in the social conditions in the U.S. from indicators of human health and civic infrastructure, and these are hallmarks of past empires' ongoing collapse. Numerous statements of European leaders such as Angela Merkel, which is of Germany, Macron, which is of France, indicate a loss of confidence in the U.S. as a traditional leader. While Biden may talk about restoring America's alliances, it isn't by no means clear of its transatlantic bond can be repaired. We showed you by prophecy. U.S. exhortation to other nations to obey its political demands, such as sanctions. Calling it one side is exhortation. So on Iran, the UN is being ignored, right, by the other nations. It says, in terms of culture, the American soft power has been greatly diminished, as it can be seen as numerous international public surveys as reportedly growing contempt for U.S. presumptions of leadership. I mean, this place is through, man. The once mighty U.S. dollar is no longer the sole currency in international trade. Russia, China, and Eurasian countries are moving towards using national currencies for exchange, circumventing their forced dollar, which means the dollar is losing the more power. Call Layim Layah Bashem Hashem because for prophecy in the fall of Edom. As the scriptures say, I've seen Satan falling as lightning. Shalom to the elect. And Baba Mawathla Adawam, death to Edom. Shalom.